Okay, so today we're going to install the N2 Designs remote start kit for the 3rd gen Tacomas. That includes 2016 through 2019. The kit pretty much is plug and play. The tools that you're going to need today are going to be a Phillips, okay, a 10mm socket, wire strippers to strip some insulation off your TPMS, which is the only wire that you will cut, so cutters, if your stripper doesn't have them already. The kit pretty much comes with your instructions, right, your remote start module, plug and play harness, which is pretty much the same thing as the HKEY Automatic, except for one extra step, which is going to be to tap your clutch cancel wire. So this video actually applies to HKEY Automatic and HKEY 6-speed 3rd gen Tacomas. So when you have an automatic, you're pretty much going to be done at the step where you come to tap the clutch cancel. So we're going to get started by removing the trim. The trim pretty much has 5 locations of screws that you need to remove. There's going to be 2 Phillips behind the steering wheel, 2 Phillips right here by your lower airbag, and a 10mm hex that you need to remove from the kick panel on this side by your driver's left ankle. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to pop open the kick panel right here, and you could do that easily by tugging on it, pulling it this way towards the passenger side. So after you pull it, you're going to see a 10mm hex bolt right here. There's no need to remove the sill over here as some do. You just need to pop this open. Okay, so you'll remove the hex. Use your Phillips, remove the 4 other screws. So there's going to be 2 down here. One and 2. And the other 2 are going to be behind the steering wheel. So you need to start your vehicle, you turn your wheel to one side, remove that screw, turn it to the other side, and remove that screw. And that pretty much takes out all the screws. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the vehicle, turn your wheel one way, and there's going to be a Phillips right here, okay, and we're going to remove that. Make sure your e-brake's up. If you're going to use a power drill, don't use a bit that's like this, that's short. You're going to want to use a skinny extension so you don't scuff your steering wheel. So I'm going to go grab that right now and remove it. So one here, turn it the other way. So we've removed all 5 screws. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pop the trim. So we're going to start off by pulling the lower part of the trim and then doing the 2 halves of the steering column first. When we put it back, we're going to reverse it with steering column caps and then the trim. So let's go ahead and do that. Just be very gentle. You're going to pull straight out, okay? So then we're going to just tug, and it should come out like that. If you have any tabs, and it happens, red tabs that don't come out when you do it, all you got to do is pinch it and push it, and it's going to fall out, it's going to fall down, you'll get it, and you'll just slip it right back on. Yeah, so right now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the harness. The harness is on the HKEY Automatic. You're going to have 2 pieces. You're going to have this cable right here, the THAR TY20, it's going to be separate, and then you're going to have the ignition wires, which are going to be the THAR TOY5. These 2 are going to be separate. For the manual transmission, they're conjoined via a relay, okay? And this is how we start the manual. So what we're going to do, since this video also applies to HKEY Automatic, we're going to do it as if we're doing an HKEY Automatic. So we're going to plug in the fabric harness right here. There's going to be 2 pieces for the automatic. It's going to be the same thing for the manual. We're going to do that first. Then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the TPMS wire, and we're going to show you how to do that. There's, okay, in your kit, whether you have manual or automatic, you're going to be getting this. This is a pre-wired field installable, meaning you don't need any tools to do it other than wire cutters and strippers to pull some insulation back off the wire. As far as crimps, no crimp gun, nothing needed. These are field installable. So when you cut your wire, your TPMS wire, you're gonna pull some insulation off, about 1/2 inch. One side will go here, one side will go here. This is true for HKEY Automatic and manual. There's no polarity, so you're just going to stick one side here from the wire that you're going to cut. So there's one type of connector for everything. You can't get it wrong. We're going to start off here with the OBD2, okay, with the HKEY Automatic manual. That's located right here, down here, okay. So you're gonna plug right into it with the black connector, and this one is going to be free. And so this port is used for diagnostics by your mechanic, so we're not occupying it or taking it up. They can still connect to it and read codes and everything as if it was never on here. We'll go ahead and plug that in, and be mindful of when you start connecting stuff to come from the back, because when you start plugging stuff in from the front, it's gonna be shoved in from the front. It's better to come in from the back. So down here, we're gonna plug it in, and make sure to try to push it as best as possible, but don't damage stuff. If you get a click, great. If not, good. You can tug on it a little bit, it's good. Remove the column here. That just pops off into two halves. Okay, so we're gonna now do the ignition harness portion of this install. We're gonna remove the OEM ignition connector. Don't pull on the wires, just only the connector. If you have to use two fingers, just tab right here, push down, pull out. You're gonna go in, back into the ignition receptacle with the plug and play remote starter connector. Okay, click, and then into the harness, the remote starter harness with the OEM side. So the second part is we're going to do the BCM. BCM is located right here. Don't use the wires to pull it out. Push the tab, it's on the left side. Other finger, slip out, pull out. Okay? You're going to go into the remote starter harness. Again, don't forget to come from the back. Click and go back in with the remote starter harness. Click. Okay? The second part is, and up till now it's the same for HKEY Automatic. You guys are going to follow all these steps. We're going to cut the TPMS wire, so HKEY Automatic and manual. You'll cut it. So I will grab my cutters. So the light green wire on this connector all the way on the left is your TPMS. We're going to cut it down the middle. We're going to pull some insulation off of both open ends and go into the TPMS connector that's included in the kit. You get a bag just like this, and in this bag is a few things that are going to be the same for both. Your TPMS ready to go harness, okay, and your valet button. This valet button is used to program the smart module if you did purchase the accessory. If you didn't, it's still a good idea to plug it into your remote starter and leave it there so that you have it and you don't lose it. It doesn't do anything. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to actually cut your TPMS. So you get your cutter, just like that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to strip off about 1/2 inch of insulation. You're using your wire strippers. Okay, so after you take off insulation about 1/2 inch, no polarity, one side is going to go into this connector, go all the way in. Sorry, the empty one. Okay, and then you'll push the clamp down, just tug a little bit, make sure everything is snug. So we put one side in. Now we're going to put the other side of the cut TPMS wire from the vehicle side into the other connector that's open. Make sure you go all the way in, then push down on the clamp and tug a little bit, and that's it. The last thing you're going to do after your TPMS is you're going to take your ground wire. Okay, so again, you're going to come through the back, and I typically like to put it right about here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to fish it out from the back. It's got to touch metal. Okay, and it's very important that you do this and not forgo it. And remove the 10mm socket. And you're going to put it right here. Now it's okay that it's against the plastic because this is metal and the back side of this is the chassis, the frame. It makes it real simple. You just put that back in. Okay, just like that. Now if you're HKEY Automatic, you're done with the remote starter harness portion of it, and you're going to skip forward to the remote starter programming later in the video. If you have a manual, the last step you're going to do is going to be your clutch cancel. And on the remote starter harness, it's going to be this yellow wire right here that's actually labeled clutch cancel. Now it's yellow because your clutch cancel wire is yellow. This wire is not going to be cut. It's actually going to be tapped. Your taps are included. You'll pull out the T-tap head. Okay, don't pull from the wire. Hold from one part of the red and the other part of red. You get the head. Then you're going to use either a small flathead or your fingernails, if you can, to open it up. Okay, you're going to see the side without the jaws, without the metal. It's a little cradle. What you want to do is you're going to find your clutch cancel switch, and what you can do is tap it with the tap head. Now, some people remove the insulation. You don't have to. If you can actually unroll it without cutting it, you'll actually see the clutch cancel wire. It's right here. So you'll seat the clutch cancel into the side of the T-tap without the metal or the bite jaws, and then you will make sure it's going down, seated, and you'll push down. Now for this part, you can kind of hold it there, but you have to use pliers, flathead or adjustable pliers. You come at the nose front right here, and you slowly push, and you'll hear a click sometimes, sometimes not, but once it closes, it's actually tapped. Okay, don't squeeze too hard so it doesn't break. Your wire's been tapped. Now what you're going to do is, again, come through the back with your clutch cancel, and you're just simply going to plug it in. Just like that. You are done with the harness installation for the 6-speed 3rd gen Tacoma. So now you're going to grab your remote start, your N2 remote start module, and this part is actually going to be the same for HKEY automatic and manual. This is the programming. What you're going to do is you're going to find the little programming button, which is right here next to the yellow jumper. Okay, on the manuals, this jumper is not cut. So don't worry if you have HKEY automatic, you will have a cut and taped jumper. Okay, your LEDs are going to be right behind that on this side, and this is what we're going to use to pay attention to for the programming sequence, whether or no things are going right or wrong. So we're going to go ahead and hold down this button. While we hold it down, we're going to plug in the 6-pin main connector, and we're going to wait for the lights to go through a bunch of sequences. When it's red and blue only, you let go. So here we go. So again, we come through the back. Now it's time to feed everything to the back, so we don't have to worry about it. Okay. All this will get tucked in later. So make sure you have all your connectors available, because anything that's left is going into the remote starter. Don't tug on anything, just be very gentle. What's going to go into the module is the 6-pin, this white connector, this connector, your TPMS, and your smart module programming. If you don't have it, that's okay. Just plug in it's also a valet kill switch, but just plug it in and leave it there so you don't lose it in case you ever do get that smart module, smartphone control from N2. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hold down the programming button and keep it held while we plug in the main 6-pin plug into the module and wait for red and blue to come on, then let go. Again, make sure your ignition is off and the key's out of the ignition, car's off. Okay, we're gonna hold down the button again while we plug it in. This connector takes a little bit of force to plug it in snug, but you'll get it. Let go, red and blue. Okay, now you're gonna plug in all the remaining connectors, no specific order. Make sure you're not pushing that button when you do that, or on accident.
It's okay.
That should be it. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to push this 10 times. You're going to let go after the 10th time. What you're going to see is this red and blue are going to flash 10 times, and then they're going to pause. 9 times, pause. 9 times, pause. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so don't worry if it starts blinking in an odd way while you're pressing. Just count 10, don't even look at it, and it should be blinking like this after you're done. 9 times with a pause. Okay, now the next step is you're going to take your key, you're going to put it into the ignition, and you're going to turn it 2 clicks to the on. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, now what's going to happen is they're going to flash rapidly 10 times. Oh, the blue one is going to come on. Then you turn your ignition off and take it out. You've been programmed successfully.